Hello, my name is James Macarios, and today I'll be going through my assignment 3. For our agenda today, we'll go through the story of the animation, explain the animation sequence, as well as the techniques used for this assignment. So for the story, I'll explain the backstory, the character, as well as the game world that the game is in. So the game is set in 2086, where the war between robots and humans have reached its inevitable destructive end, and most of the world has been wiped out. One robot, A142, was awakened after being offline for 30 years and have to traverse around the world to discover what happened. So, a little backstory to our character. A142 is a type of worker robot working in industrial factories. It has a few abilities that can help them to traverse through the world, such as the magnetic grapple and the zip line. So for this scene, it will be set in an abandoned factory where A142 was just awakened from. A142 will be running through the area, avoiding obstacles and doing platforming to traverse through the area. So we'll now go through the animation sequence. So the first part of our sequence is an introductory shot where the viewer can see the abandoned factory as a whole, and which was that. And after that, we are introduced to our main character, A142. Next, the camera will then follow the main character as it walks around and grapple itself to one of the magnetic grapple here. For our next sequence, the view is then switched to a third-person view to give another perspective of the action. The main characters now grapples to another magnetic grapple in this sequence. Once the sequence is done, we will then go back to another cinematic camera and follows the action of the main character, where it will zip line through the pipe and land safely on the platform. Once this sequence is done, we will switch to an alternative view, similar to a CCTV, where we can see another perspective of the main character's action. And after that, the camera is then switched to another third-person view, where it highlights the main action for this scene, where the main character will use his magnetic grapple to pull down a lever, which will then open a door that was blocking him. For the next sequence, it will continue the action where A142 will then grapple to a magnetic grapple that was blocked by the door just now and will then fly to the platform. And in the last sequence, A142 made his landing safely and the scene finally ends. So now I will go through the techniques that is used for this animation. First, these are the things that I will be explaining. So firstly is rigging. Rigging is used by creating the joints between the different body parts that typical humanoid character have, which will help in controlling the body movement for the animation. However, unlike a conventional rigging process, the joints are not bound to the skin of the character. As the character models shown just now have distinct bones and joints, binding the skin will deform these bones and joints, which will make it unnatural. So therefore I decided not to bind the skin with the joints. So for lighting, there are 4 types of lights being used here. First, we have the ambient light, which add a background light to the overall scene. Then directional light are added to give a sense of depth by casting strong shadows around the scene. Spotlights are then used to highlight important objects such as the lever. And finally, point lights are used sparingly to provide additional lights if necessary. For the effects, lightning is the main component in this animation. It is used as a visual aid for viewers whenever the main character is using its grapple ability. There was an attempt of using end particles to show sparks when A142 was ziplining. However, it was ultimately scrapped as it did not look realistic enough. And lastly, for the sound effects, it is divided into 2 categories. There are character sound effects. These include walking, grappling, as well as ziplining, as well as environment sound effects such as the door opening or the rotor on the grapple spinning around. The sound effects have been adjusted to give a sense of depth between the camera and the action. For example, the rotor will sound louder whenever the camera is near a grapple. So that is all for the presentation. So you can watch the demo by using the link provided, or you can scan the QR code shown on the screen.